Hi, this is Esther once again with EP Self-Defense Initiative. The United States is the largest consumer of child pornography in the world. So recently I was in a meeting with the executive director for a human trafficking organization. And we started talking about some of the common ways that children are being groomed to participate in human trafficking and media. And a lot of parents think of social media as Facebook and Instagram and Snapchat. However, one of the most common ways that people are targeting children and teens is through Xbox Live. Is that there are ways to send a text message or even links to other websites. And a lot of parents say, well, that's not my child because he's only allowed to communicate with his 3 best friends. Well, who are those 3 best friends communicating with? Who are their 3 people? And of those 3 people that their friends are communicating them, who are their 3 people? And so we see that there's this exponential growth of the information that your child has access to through their friends. So what this particular executive director was telling me is that she went to give a conversation in a class of, I think she said 3rd graders or 4th graders. And she asked a question about how many of them had received a link while using Xbox Live. And many of these children raised their hands. Most of the class raised their hands, if not all of them. And then she asked, how many of you have received a link to a photograph that made you feel uncomfortable? And all of those kids had raised their hands. And then she started asking more specific questions. And it became within a few seconds, the conversation was no longer about have I received a nasty or a sexual picture, but it was who had received the nastiest. And there was everything from sexual torture being described to bestiality. It is a way to groom your child for human trafficking and even child pornography. So if your child is receiving, let's say, a picture that shows some form of sexual torture, and they become desensitized to that in the sense that that's nasty, but whatever, and somebody asks your child to send them a picture of their private parts, then your child might say, well, it's not sexual torture. It's not as nasty as that. So then this is okay. You must look at all the links that are sent. If you receive a link to something that is sexual in nature, do not delete it. Instead, contact the authorities immediately. If your child comes up to you and says that they have received this link, or if you go into their profiles and you see their conversations and you see this link, the last thing we want to do is yell at our children for opening that link or not telling us. Because what we're telling them is that that makes us really angry. And our kids usually don't like to see us angry. Communicating with the other parents, if you know the other parents, saying like, hey, you know what, your child had access to this information. I have called the authorities. And this is particularly important. You should always contact the authorities even before you contact the other parent. So, moving forward, what can we do? Talk to your schools about any parenting awareness programs that they might have. A lot of schools are right now reaching out to FBI, police departments, organizations, nonprofit organizations that can give parents information on what signs to watch out for. Be aware that many parents do not know that their kids are currently being human trafficked or being used for child pornography. Second, churches, if you are a church-going member, talk to your pastor about maybe inviting a speaker to go to your small groups, or talk to your teens, talk to your youth classes. So that way they can talk to your children, and they can also provide it to the parents. You can also reach out to your local shelters, local nonprofit organizations, and see what they can offer parents to individuals. And finally, but not least, like I said, always feel free to contact me. Contact EP Self-Defense Initiative. We are more than happy to link you up wherever city you are in the United States. We can probably find a good resource for you to go to become informed. If not, there's some great resources online on how to reach this conversation. Be strong, be aware, be empowered people. Feel free to email us, contact us through our Facebook or through our website. We are always here to help. We would love to help you. Have a good one. Be safe.